Well, this is going to be different. If you have never seen one of our videos, we normally do this at the end, and we call it Rock and Talk, or the Fireplace Chat, which we don't have a fire going right now, but just in your minds, think about it. But I'm Grandpa Doss Farms, and this is Grandma. And what's about a month ago, we told everybody that if it got too cold outside to feed our animals and make a video properly, that we would come inside and we would just talk, answer questions, just like we do, and visit, and that has come to pass. Yesterday morning when we went out, we was normally filmed yesterday, it was 8 below zero. I thought I'd lost my fingers. I wasn't quite sure if I had any fingers left. Well, we got through yesterday and we had the big snow. Then this morning, it was 1 below zero, still too cold. And I had told Grandma Leanne, this is Leanne, I'm Ralph, by the way, look, if it gets that way, we're just going to do a rock and talk. We're going to visit, and that's the video right there. So if you want to see our animals, our goats and our chickens and our dogs and pigs and all that, watch the last video or watch the ones after it warms up. But right now, today, this is what you get, 2 old people talking about life.
But we're going to also answer questions, correct?
Yeah, we're going to answer some. Yeah, we've got some interesting questions that have come across to us. And, you know, I think starting out, let's start out talking about last video, because I had to go out and buy a pair of steel-lined pants for my rear end because I got chewed up one side and down the next.
Yay.
With something you said.
Me?
You started it. What'd you get onto me for last video?
Oh gosh, I have a list.
Yeah, well, do the one that got me in so much trouble.
You were shoveling snow and using a broom to try to keep the snow off of the garage approach. Now we're getting, you know, between 9 and 12 inches, and he's going to go out every time there's an inch out there and shovel. And what really got me was when you started on the front porch. Because I thought, who's going to come to the front porch in this weather?
So you'd let me go if I hadn't? I was going to say. So anyway, yeah, I got some pretty nasty comments. Now, they weren't nasty. They were just like, are you kidding me? They
supported me, right?
They supported you 110%. A lot of you had spouses, husbands, who went out and did the same thing. And you said, you know, you got onto them too. And somebody sent me one comment and said, hey, Ralph, says, look, I'm in my 70s. I know that spring's coming. I figured that out a long time ago. He said, it'll all melt. Let it go. I have a blower. It's a big backpack blower I could have used, but it's rented out right now.
We have a tractor that just takes up space in the garage. And
yeah.
Chad even told me, he told you to back the tractor in so that you could just pull out and scoop the snow.
I know a lot of people go, hey, don't you have a tractor?
Yeah,
Ding dong.
He does.
I know, but when I use the tractor, first of all, I don't have a cab, so I didn't want to get out there and get that cold moving in the wind. Also, when you use a tractor, you can't drop it down on the driveway and just, you know, you tear it up, so you can only get so high. And I know I could have driven it up and down the driveway, and I didn't even do that. We just waited yesterday morning, I just drove down and made one track, and then Grandma followed me out. But yeah, the comments were pretty funny, and we'll get into a couple here in just a little bit, but we wanted to kind of catch up. By the way, when I talk, and first of all, I use my hands, and second of all, things are very seldom in a chronological, sensible order.
It's when it pops into his head.
Yeah, I made a couple of notes, but one thing I wanted to talk about a month or so ago, I brought up on a video that I was going to have to do x-rays. Mm-hmm. You know, some of you know I've had some issues with tingling in my feet and blah, 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 since the surgery last July. So the cardiologist, physician's assistant recommended I go have some x-rays, which I did about a week or so ago. The results are I have some bone spurs, anterior and posterior, in the C1 through C7, cervical joints up here, what do you want to call them? Cervical disc, whatever you want to call them, up here in my neck. It's an age thing, probably more than likely. I'm not suffering any pain from them. Maybe cause your neck to be a little bit stiff. They don't go away on their own. So they're just there. I probably
There
had
was
them.
no pinched nerve. That's what we were
There was no
looking
pinched
for.
nerve up here. They also did a lumbar, lower back x-ray and discovered that I've got some degenerative disc disease. It's not a disease, it's called old age, and my discs, like a lot of people, are a little bit compressed after the years. That's not a shocker to me. Sometimes I have pain, it comes and goes. Again, stretching, physical therapy, that's what she recommended. And the bottom line is I don't have a pinched nerve that's causing anything in my feet, so we eliminated that.
True.
As a cause. So now we're back to square one, and my feet are still, my right one in particular, still turning red, and my toe, and I landed, all that kind of stuff. So we're still looking into some,
Well, we
still
have
waiting.
more appointments, so we'll see if somebody different comes up with another idea in
yeah.
March and April.
Yeah, right now we're just, today's February the 20th, 22nd,
21st or 2nd.
21st, yeah, that's one of those days. And I got about another month to go, and I'll do an echo. And then after that, April 22nd, I go see that nerve doctor. So till then, we're just, on a holding pattern. I want to talk about the goats for just a second.
Okay.
I worried a lot about the goats the last couple of nights. Whether or not we considered buying them jackets, putting some kind of artificial heat out there. And then Karen, one of our Karens, sent me a great article on goats from a farm who had goats and care, and it talked about winterizing your goats. No jackets or any artificial heat. This is her recommendation unless they're sick or they're young.
Our three aren't considered young.
No, not babies, not newborn. She said newborn,
Oh.
newborn.
They're so cute, though.
Yeah.
The
Those jackets.
Yeah, they look really cute in them. They just barely go on their back and go under their tummy, and
Grandma will give me these ideas, and I try to go along initially, but in my own mind I'm thinking, I'm shaking my head in my mind.
That's funny because I can see your mind then. I can see your head going like this
Yeah,
when I'm
'cause I
talking.
don't wanna-
You cut me off before I even get it all out.
Because I don't want to burst her bubble, but I'm no expert, but when somebody like this lady who raises goats for a living says, look, you don't want to put jackets on them because you don't want to compress their fur. That's how they stay warm. Their fur,
Well, answer me this then. Why do they even make blankets for goats?
Somebody wanted to make a dime.
Oh.
Somebody wanted to make a dime. But I don't recommend that. You want animals, if they're outside like that, as much as possible to adapt to the cold temperatures. She won't even put hers in the barn until it gets real super cold, because she wants them their fur will grow out, get thicker. And I'm sure this was with other animals also.
But Karen, they shake, and they're only a year old, and it's hard to watch them shake.
Well, even the
cold.
big goats shook a little bit
I
this
know,
morning. They
I
did,
know.
but they're okay. I think there's probably other goats out there that shook, and if they were not getting around and moving. Now today it is 20. I see a 20. I think I see an 8 out there on the thermometer. I think it's like 28. So now it's like a heat wave to them, and it's not supposed to be cold again. Hopefully now we'll take this all the way into spring. A lot of bedding, a lot of straw, and when a goat or cow, the ruminants, more than one stomach, 4 stomachs, when they eat the hay, it goes into the rumen, it ferments, it heats them up internally, which also keeps them warm. That's why it's important to give them a lot of hay. That's my own peace of mind. They were out there, even though it was 8 below, and they were okay, hunkered down. And I think we did everything we could for the goats, and they all survived, and they're fine. And they cuddle up against some of the doggies. We also had somebody ask, what did you do with the pigs? Did the pigs have a shelter? The pigs have a porta hut just like the dogs do. And if you watch the videos, we feed the pigs every time. We even showed putting 2 bales of straw in with the pigs, and they made these little tunnels. And I put 2 bales out in front of the shelter. And so they made their little way back there and made this little nest. In fact, they both come out this morning and they're straw covered. They got down in the straw, and so the pigs were good. But the pigs have their own shelter. They're well taken care of. And the chickens in their coops. So we made it through this. You know, this is something we don't do. I mean, this much snow and this cold. I can't remember the last time it was below 2 or 3. I mean, it's been years.
Yeah.
Years since we've been that cold. We don't normally get 2 really big snows like we've had this year. Oh, something else. A lot of folks saying, hey, you haven't seen anything. You know, you think that's a lot of snow. I can't, you know, you shouldn't be griping about it because we get this and we get that, you know. Well, they live in Canada. Well, they live up north. They live in South or North Dakota. If you live that far up north, you live with that. That's what you expect that. You know, a little 8 to 10 inch snow to you is nothing. Like I said in the last video, it's all relevant to where you live. To us, it's a big deal. So when I gripe about the snow and the cold, it's been snowy and more cold here than it has in years. And, you know, if I could just stay hunkered down in the house all the time, probably wouldn't be that big a deal. But getting out and going and taking care of the animals, yeah, it's pretty rough.
Brutal.
It's pretty brutal out
Really
there.
is.
I mean, yeah, so it's like, that's why we're doing this video here. We just try to get in, get out, and get, you know.
Well, like you said this morning, we can put on enough layers that we're warm. We even get to a point where we can sweat, but it's our hands because we're having to take our gloves off constantly because you can't get the gates open. You can't feed the dogs. The dogs don't like being petted if you've got your gloves on, and they don't want to be fed out of my hands if I've got my gloves on. So it's kind of hard.
We smell funny with the gloves on. And then when we're done feeding, we usually spend about 10 minutes down there petting everybody and all that, but we just haven't been able to. You can't. Your hands are so frozen, you can't.
And really, the longer we stay down there, they stay out of the shelters. If we come in the house, they'll go get in the shelter somewhere. So
True. That's right.
We don't hang out too much right now.
Oh, and somebody, I guess you don't have them out here. Somebody asked about your gloves. Do
you want to get them?
Somebody wanted to know what pair of gloves does Grandma wear? Well,
I started out with these because they were supposed to be good for 20 below. Nah. They do make good liners for inside of another pair of gloves, so I did that for a while with these. I wore these for the liners, and then these are like ski gloves, and I put those on. Then I found these, and these are actual ski gloves, and they have that fleece lining, and they're actually pretty warm and waterproof. But when it gets as cold as it is right now, they didn't work. So I have these are Carhartt, but these are more really for work than they are
work gloves.
Yeah, than they are for the cold. I did find these, and these don't cover your fingers, but they do have the warmers in them, and you just charge it, and I can put my hand in there, and with these I can put these on over it. Or I can use the packs that, you know, you shake and it warms your fingers or your toes.
Yeah, somebody sent us those and we use those. We've got them there. Kathy did? Okay. Yeah, we got
And
them.
those will fit in here too. The problem is when you have to take your gloves off all the time to feed the animals or pet or whatever, those are, you know, coming in and out, whereas this stays on your hand. Then Shannon, when she was over here the other day, said, hey, why don't you try these gloves like I've got, and they're Carhartt. And I looked at them, I thought, well, they're really cute and fluffy, but I can't imagine they're going to be any warmer than what I've got. But I've worn them now for 2 days in the coldest temps that we've had. And I got to say, they're warm. They're very warm. Don't put your hand in there. You'll spread it out.
I can't get it in there.
They're very warm. I haven't even talked to Shannon about it yet, but I do like them. I can't get anything underneath them. I can't really even put the liners if the gloves are tight. But as warm as these are, because sometimes I can keep this part of my hand warm, but it's my fingers, like you said.
And once you take your hand out of your glove, it's over.
But this is really probably the nicest as far as warmth. And so the Carhartt probably wins for me, and these just came in 2 days ago.
A couple days ago, yes. Yeah. I have 3 heated pair of gloves. None of them keep your fingers warm.
Yeah.
Maybe if you left your hand in them the entire time, maybe that's the issue. We have to take our hands out. You know, a la if we have to film, you got to take your hand, and you can't, you know, because even though they have the new technology is they've got the finger that you can touch the screen, but when you work in those gloves and that gets dirty, then that loses its power.
Yeah.
It loses its sensibility, its touchability to get the camera going off and on.
Well, and usually they're longer in the fingers for me, so I don't have my finger at the end, and it's too hard. And you got all this glove, and you got
True, you can't put enough pop on it.
These are not supposed to work for like the touch screen thing.
No,
but they're warm. They're so warm.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's like going out tonight. It'll be 27, 28 degrees or 20. Even if it's 20, that's 20 degrees warmer than it was last night. It's good.
Well,
the animals are out there and enjoying it today. I don't think much snow is melting.
We've been having the temps though, but then you've got the feel like, and the feel like is usually 6, 7, 8 degrees colder. And the wind makes a huge difference out there.
Yeah, if you live in an area and experiencing this now, then you know what we're talking about. And a lady sent me a picture. Oh, she's from Canada, looking out her front door, and still 2 feet of snow on the ground. They said, hey, just stay inside. That's the hard part. We literally did not go anywhere for 2 days. 2 days we didn't go anywhere, and that's difficult. Somebody said that I'm not very patient. I'm not.
No. You're absolutely right.
I want to be doing something outdoors. I want to be outdoors, period. That's all. That's it. And to stay in here for 2 days and now have this.
That's what got you in trouble though, because we'd been out feeding together and you said, give me just a minute, I got something I got to do out here. And time's going on and he's not in, and I'm thinking, okay, he was freezing cold and now he's got to be, so I'm thinking he's laying in the snow out there somewhere, and I go out and he's, messing with the snow on the porch, and I brought it up 2 or 3 times. I said, hey, you need to come in, and finally the last straw,
The last straw is out there in the goats. Speaking of, I want to read something. Somebody says, LOL, let's see what time is it. So typical of a man to show those emotions when Leanne is showing how much she cares. Last video, you were giving me the look, and I here's what I know too. If mom's at work, she'll text me about 3 o'clock or so and say, hey, I'm going to be home in a little bit. Don't go feed the animals without me. Well, she's thinking of me. She doesn't want me out there in the cold by myself feeding, in case she'll come out there and find me, face down in the snow trying to do too much, feeding the animals. Oh, I know you. I know what you're doing. I appreciate it, though.
I look at it this way. We've been through a lot, and we stuck by each other through thick and thin, but how stupid would it be to come home in cold temps and have an accident or whatever just because you're too stubborn to come in,
It's a guy thing. It's guys. Sometimes
guys
you have to prove yourself to yourself.
Do not.
I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. It's me. I'm trying to, prove something to myself as I get older that I still got it.
How long are you going to do that? How old do you have to be before you finally realize you got it and you don't need any more?
Not until I put that suit and tie on and I'm stretched out that's how long. My question, Donna, does the griping make you feel better? If it does, then carry on. If it doesn't, then maybe you need to try something else. She said the griping doesn't bother her a bit, so whatever makes you feel better.
Donna,
she's been with us forever.
Donna, it may not bother you, it does bother me. After you're in the house together for 2 days, cooped up, and all he does is gripe, and I can take it for a while, but then I get to the point where I'm like, okay, let's be thankful that we have a nice, warm home. I'm thankful, but I'm still going to gripe, I'm just going,
Grandpa has common sense, but he gets restless. That is true. She says, try to be creative for him to stay in the house.
Be creative.
How about hatching some eggs? I'm never, ever hatching any more eggs. No, I'll buy the chicks like Chad and Ray did. I'm not hatching any more eggs. You got to remember, if you hatch eggs, you don't know if you put 20 in an incubator and you have 10 or 8, whatever it is, 3/4 of them, heck, they could all be roosters. Then you have no layers. And then you got to get rid of 8, 9 roosters like we had to. Well, yeah, I'm not ever hatching eggs again. This is about Mama Kitty. What are you going to do? You brought Mama Kitty inside, and now she's not going to go out. I don't recall bringing her in.
No, she's not in. What happens is when we open the door, she sneaks in. And so we've started closing the interior door so that when the garage door is open, she can be in the utility room. The problem is, Mama would probably stay in there, Baby would not. Baby doesn't want any part of, I mean, when she doesn't even want to be around us, she won't come out from underneath the truck or the car.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somebody asked if we still had them. Yes, we have both of them. And they have the Taj Mahal out there. I bought 2 different beds, and both of them are big enough for 2 cats, and each one has a heating pad in the bottom of it. One of them you can control the temperature, the time. The other one just stays hot all the time. And I've rearranged them every which way I can, and Baby still goes in with Mama. She doesn't want to go in. I should show the tape. I've got where Mama is on top of the cat tree, and she's just wanting to go to sleep, and Baby gets on the level above her, and Mama's trying to sleep, and Baby's patting her on the head, and Mama's looking up at her like, stop it, you know. So Mama doesn't really want her in the same bed, but she goes in there anyway, and Mama gives in. So I might insert that here so they can just kind of see that a little bit.
And then we go out last night to feed. I'm out in the garage, got on my step, I look down, and there's a mouse sitting behind my truck.
Little bitty.
Little bitty mouse, and it's alive. And I thought, how in the world did that mouse get here? Well, all of a sudden, Baby pops out from underneath the truck and, you know, picks it up and takes it off about 5 feet and drops it down. I thought, you know what, I'm not going to let you just torture this little mouse. I went somewhere and came back, and I thought, if that mouse is still there, when I get back, I'm going to save it. Well,
it wasn't there.
It was
At
gone.
least not all of it.
Not all of it was there when I went back. So she, you know, that's what cats do. They'll play with them, and then they finally, you know, make a meal out of them. Here's one of my all-time favorites. Great question. Are your boys adopted?
Seriously?
Now, are you talking about? Yeah, I assume Chad, Kyle, and Matt, right? Our boys.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they are not adopted.
I birthed all 3 of them. I can tell you the exact weight.
Yeah, exactly. I think Mom she was present. I was there, you know, I had the tough part.
Is it because you don't think they look alike?
Yeah. Why would they think that our boys are adopted?
I don't know.
No, they are not adopted. They're all ours, 110%. Are you kidding me? If I had I wouldn't adopt those boys. There's no way. Somebody says, how many of you that watch do the wormy dance in your head? He said, I just did. That's pretty good. Who is the oldest, middle, and younger boys in your family?
Chad's the oldest. Kyle is born
19.
2 years apart.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
So, you know, Kyle's middle, and then Matt came along 21 months later. So Matt's the youngest, Kyle's middle, and Chad's the oldest.
There you go. I know what kind of peanut butter I ate to give him speed that day that I speed fed. Nothing but Jif, J-I-F. Not the reduced sugar kind. That's nasty. Well, somebody wanted to know if I've considered going to a pain management doctor. They do have pain management doctors. I remember at the hospital, we had a whole wound care pain management thing. No, I haven't considered that. I just manage it here at home. I just live through it. I just deal with it.
You're tough.
She said they have different ways to help people with chronic nerve pain. I do. I appreciate that. I
And
really
if that's
do.
what
I'm not
it
making
turns
fun.
out to be, that may be something
I
that
know.
you need to look into.
Exactly. We're like I said, right now we're just waiting.
We're still kind of hoping that it's the amiodarone still
Yeah.
getting out of his system.
Want to know if I've been checked for an autoimmune disease? Nobody has checked me for an autoimmune disease.
How do they do that? How do they check for that?
A blood test probably.
Well, you've had every blood test.
Yeah, all my blood tests actually came back really good. That's just it. Every test they've done has came back well. So, isn't it amazing how much a toe or two can ruin your mood day or night? It's like having a toothache, or you know, you get this pain in your finger, and it can affect your whole mood and your whole body. And you're thinking, I can overcome this mentally. It's just a toe, but it's hard. It's not as easy as you think. I'm kind of getting used to it now. But last night I'd slept pretty good a couple of nights in a row, but my feet, I don't know if it's the cold weather, don't know, really started hurting. And last night I think I slept till about midnight, and then I got up till almost 2. And I just stay up until I can't keep my eyes open. Then I go and I go to sleep for a little while. It's kind of how it is right now, and it may pass. I don't believe it's gout. I've read so much about it. Somebody says it's gout. I don't think it's gout. I'd be surprised. I like this one too. This again, I'm just reading comments. This is just a real what people are sending us, any random order. Isn't it just like the Lord to gather so many together to create a community? Perhaps it is getting more difficult to find a fellowship that stays faithful to the Word of God these days, or maybe because so many of us are getting older and it's harder to get out to church. Finding good Bible-believing churches is getting a bit more difficult every year. Nevertheless, we will overcome. And that's kind of like our channel. We don't intend always in our videos to preach or to talk about,
But if God lays something on your heart, I feel like we're supposed to say it. So
I agree, but we don't sit and think up ways every time to include that in our videos. So if that makes any sense. The message that Tatum sent, about the
peace beyond our
understanding. That is on our community page, by the way. I put that in there about 3 days ago or 4. And the way you get to that, I found out, I had to experiment myself. You go to our YouTube channel. I think you have to do it on your phone or computer. I don't know if you do it on TV. Probably can't if you watch on TV. You hit the little truck sign, our little logo, and then it comes up, and right down there it says, I believe it says community. Hit that community, and it has all our posts up there, like if you put a recipe out, and it's on there. So if you want, a lot of people are wanting that so they could read it during the day. So if you go to our community page, you can take a screenshot or whatever you got to do, and then you can have that. Okay? I figured that out all by myself, by the way, just so you know. Have you been checked for diabetes? Yes, I have. And they say no. Have you had your thyroid checked? Yeah, the first thing they found before they found the mitral valve was bad was I have hypothyroidism, and I take levothyroxine for that every day. It's the smallest amount you can take. So,
and I still question that, because I specifically asked the surgeon if the heart valve could have anything to do with that, and he implied that it could. He didn't say that it did. So I was wondering if maybe that thyroid medicine, maybe you don't need that now, maybe, because thinking about you being hypo whatever, just you don't have any of the symptoms.
I didn't have symptoms before.
I know.
But if you leave that, but it'll hurt your thyroid if you don't, and right now, I mean, the last time I went, taking the medicine, my levels are spot on.
But that's been a while. That's been before you were completely off of the other medicines that you were on.
Yeah, so
But you'll be going back, what, in April? And
you're going back in April.
So
April, maybe they'll have them do it. I'll have them do it again.
Yeah, they will.
Well, I tell you what I did. I actually went off the medicine. I self-diagnosed and went off the medicine for a couple of days, and I called kind of a hotline and told her what I did, and she goes, "Oh, no." She said, "Do not go off your medication without talking to the doctor." So I said, "Okay." So I started taking it again. And then they did the tests, and everything was cool. So it's kind of hard to say, well, I don't need the medicine. But personally, I would like to go off it for a while, and I'm going to ask permission and see what happens.
Well, that's what I did with my cholesterol medicine, and look what, I mean, I don't have to take it now. I just
know, that's
take
right.
the fish oil. And
that's right. What do we got going on in the future?
Well, we're still waiting on Jeremiah to come by and take a look at the area that we've cleared for fence. We've got to have that before we can go any further.
No, nobody's doing anything.
I know.
Most businesses around here, good grief, the schools are shut down for a week. Nobody did anything. But I'm getting really anxious. You've got people selling seeds all over, all the stores got their seeds out now, and that's probably for people who maybe have greenhouses. But it's still February. It's still really early around here. I don't.
Yeah, we could.
It's kind of weird to me. I saw at Walmart, and of course, you're getting all their gardening. How they section off that thing there, and they're getting all their gardening stuff out, and that's fine. But we are still several weeks off. Yeah. And I've said it before. I won't put a seed in the ground till May 15th, and I've done that 2 years in a row, and I haven't been disappointed yet. We
do have a couple of plans for Matt now that he likes, and I think there's 2 different people that we're going to get bids from, and we've subbed them out ourselves enough that we may end up doing that. It's just been a long time, and you kind of have to know who to call to do the various things. But once we get it framed and get it closed in, that's pretty easy. So, you know, we're going to get some outside bids just to see what comes in, and we're also kind of waiting around to see that interest rates are going to come down, and you know, some of that stuff. So, but Matt would love to be out here. He's not going to have any problem selling his house, but you know, I don't think he wants to live in an RV like Kyle and Shannon for any amount of time. So,
yeah, we get a little anxious to get things going, but it's out of our control right now, and things have to be, you know, lined up properly to break ground, and you know, a big thing. I got to get the fence done, but that's
really
you know,
the big thing, because we've got to have somewhere to put the goats and the dogs to where they can't get to whoever's working on the house.
Well, we get the fence done and put that big gate right there. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
Well, then we can do anything we want to on the other side.
Right. Well, if we're going to get this video out today.
Yeah, Grandma still has to edit this video. I'm just.
I've never done this close.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's just a conversation. Shouldn't be
Chad
too bad.
called and he said, "You're actually just now filming for today's video?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm going to pull you." And he goes, "Good luck."
Pulling a Chad on this
Yeah.
one. I would prefer to go out and film outside and be out there and do the animals, because I know that this is a farming channel, but we also have a relationship with folks to where if we could, we would sit down and just visit like this and get feedback. We could talk for hours and hours and hours. But due to the circumstances, you know, I know y'all understand. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it. And we'll see where this video goes. And it is what it is. And then hopefully next, let's see, our next one will be on Sunday. And I think we can get out Saturday and slosh through the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, holy cow, that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe we can get Matt over here and he can get muddy with us. But yeah, this snow ain't gonna be gone by then, that's for sure. But it is gonna be 40 degrees. So thank you for watching our videos, all of our family. We appreciate the support and the encouragement and the love and the advice and the things that you send us, all rolled into one. We could not do this without you. And as always, keep strong, pray on. God bless you.
Stay frosty.
We love you. You stay frosty for yeah. And until next time, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.